Let's talk about Obsession and its true villain. Of course, if you have not seen Obsession, minor spoilers here and there. You do know it's about somebody making a wish to make somebody fall in love with them. So that's kind of been out there already, but we're going to get a little bit more deeper with the details. I do have a review out, no spoilers, go check that out. I also have an ending explain where I recap the whole movie. We're not doing that here. We're just talking a little bit more of a commentary on the film in itself. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You probably already read the title of the video. You know what we're getting into. Bear is the true villain in Obsession. So Obsession, of course, revolves around Bear, who makes a wish on a One Wish Willow, which grants you whatever wish you want, but be careful because you can't make any changes to that wish. You can't cancel it, and you'll get Curry Barker on the other side of the phone telling you that whatever you did, the other person's probably in a hell of suffering or in a purgatory of sorts. Nonetheless, let's talk about Bear here, who I think, let's get things out of the way. Yes, I think Bear made that wish not thinking it was going to be real. First and foremost, Bear was very obsessed and infatuated with Nikki. It doesn't seem that Nikki was giving Bear any signals to think that either, and he had been told already by his friends that Nikki wasn't really interested. However, he decided, I want to keep pursuing her, and he had an opportunity to clear the air. Nikki asked him straight, do you like me or not? What do I think would have happened then? Maybe Nikki would have let him off easy. Maybe she would have said that she sees him as a friend, and thus we could have avoided 3 bodies and somebody potentially going to jail for the murders of her friends. So I think that Bear truly is a villain here because, yes, let's say he was like oblivious to all of this with the One Wish Willow, right? And he made this wish where he said that Nikki will love him more than anyone in the world. He could have just said maybe he likes him a bit more or something like that, but no, he was much so wanting her to be just in love with him and nobody else. And yes, Bear, of course, at the beginning was a little bit confused if this was real, if this was not. I think he started to realize that Nikki really wasn't on drugs, and that's what he was sort of like using for him to feel a little bit better about that first night. But then he eventually realizes that she's lying about her dad having cancer and all of these other things. And I think what really made me change my perspective on Bear just being this person that's innocent and is just like having the worst luck because of the wish he did was at that restaurant when he found out the truth, and the next scene that preceded that was him just using Nikki to have sex with, basically like raping her. I was just like, yeah, Bear's far gone. He is just using this to his advantage now. He doesn't care about Nikki at all. He just cares about the idea of Nikki. And I said this in my ending explained that he was infatuated with the idea of Nikki. He was so codependent on her when his grandmother passed away, and he's been using her sort of as this coping mechanism, and now just wants her because of all of this. And this is something I think that we see from Bear at the beginning as well. And this is my 3rd time watching it, and I notice these things. Nikki obviously sees him as a friend. She even sort of alludes to it being a little weird or icky if they were to date. And the time when Ian says, go take your girl home, especially when Ian tells Bear to go take his girl home after the trivia night, and she just says, ew. Even Sarah says that Nikki says she saw him as a little brother and didn't really like him. And you know, many people might think that maybe Sarah said that because she likes Bear, but I think it's been pretty obvious because Ian's kind of been trying to get Bear to not do this. Ian and Nikki have been sleeping together for some time. He probably knows her. He probably knows that she doesn't feel anything towards Bear. I think the friends should have told Bear from the very beginning as well that Nikki was not interested at all. I do agree to that extent, but I think that Bear, once he made the One Wish Willow, sort of became like a monster of sorts because he was okay with the idea of this like possession that happened to Nikki and this force that's making Nikki like him, the fake Nikki, and okay with the fake Nikki. And he knew that the real Nikki was suffering in some purgatory because when he called to just try and alter the wish. He wasn't really interested at first in canceling it or reversing it. He was just okay with altering it a bit so she's not as crazy and as possessive as she was in the film. And I think that showcases that he was still cool with it, just using her pretty much and keeping her at his side. And I think that that is definitely such a dark thing here. Also, of course, in the very end, when we hear the real Nikki plead to Bear to kill her, and he's pretty much like, oh, so it's that bad being with me. And we hear that the real Nikki says, I've never been with you. It's just been the fake Nikki. It's been this like thing that possessed me. It's never been me. And he's okay with that, walking away from it and letting her suffer because he just wants to have Nikki all of this time. Now, of course, towards the very end, until like Sarah's dead and Ian's dead, he's just okay with dealing with the Nikki that's here now because he still gets to have her. And I think this really just showcases the type of person Bear has become towards the end of the film. Somebody who is okay with just having Nikki sort of be this like toy of sorts that he can just have and not really care about the repercussions, even though he sees that she is not the same girl that she was before the wish was made and has turned into a vessel of sorts, with the real Nikki out there being tortured wherever this purgatory is from the One Wish Willow. Truly sickening, truly dark, and I think it is just one of those moments, especially after the restaurant scene, like I said, where you're just like, this is fucking like sick. Like, honestly, I think that is one of the most horrifying things in the whole film, that scene right after the restaurant where Bear is just pretty much using her, and you see that there is like no reciprocation from Nikki herself. Like, she is just out of it. But I just want to make this video just talking about just how bad Bear really is because of all of this. Of course, at the end, the fake Nikki tried to make a wish on the One Wish Willow to have Bear be obsessed with her now, and they would live happily ever after. But of course, he took the way out, and once he died, his wish was done, and the real Nikki is now free to suffer everything still, because there's no way she goes back to any sort of normal life after everything. Her face is mutilated, her friends are all dead, she's probably gonna get blamed and prosecuted for all of this, and I don't think people are gonna believe that the One Wish Willow caused all of this. So Bear pretty much ruined her whole life. And of course, Bear would see that the real Nikki would come out and freak out about this situation whenever she was kissing him or she was with him and all of that. It was pretty much clear that she did not want to be any part of this. She made it clear to so many people as well, and Bear just couldn't listen. He was too obsessed with her and the idea of her and infatuated with it. He was going to do whatever it takes to have her, and he has her against her will and does whatever he wants, even if she doesn't want it. And it's a pretty horrible thing. So at the end of the day, Bear is truly the horror villain here, and we have Nikki be the final girl, but we don't exactly get any happy conclusive ending for her either. So very sad and miserable ending, honestly. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on it. I will have a live. We'll talk about the movie tomorrow if y'all want to. I did discuss a little bit about how it was edited a bit down from the TIFF premiere as well, and we can talk about that in the live tomorrow and all those things. So I'm just giving people a couple days to watch it, and then we'll do a live how we always do for like these big horror films where we discuss it and you can come in. So stay tuned for that tomorrow night, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let's get to it. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.